Good morning or good afternoon where you are in India. I know it's been quite a while since we've last been on here with each other. Um, I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join into this conference first, and then we'll go from there. In the meantime, guys, it has been quite a while since I came online and give you a talk. It's probably a good thing because we've had a lot of students now that are here in the UK and a lot that are about to take their flights and come here, as well as Europe, of course. And today's webinar is more about giving you an update on what's happening over here as far as COVID is concerned and um, what's happening with admissions. Obviously, September intake is now done, and the January intake is nearly full. There's not very many spaces left, but regardless, this is it's to give you a bit of a brief about what sort of opportunities there are, what the COVID situation is like here, and just answer some of your questions with regards to January intakes or next September intakes, what's better to do, what the situation may be like, what opportunities are out there for you. So this is just mainly to update you on those things. Now, we will be doing a Q&As at the end of this session. So any questions that you have, you can feel free to keep on asking them and typing them in. I may come to some of them during the brief, and I may come to a lot of them afterwards. Regardless, we will go through some brief bits and then go through the UK, the EU, particularly Germany and Ireland, and then go through some of the tricks and strategies for applying soon. So I want to share a screen with you first, give you a bit of a brief about what, let's do this one. While I set this up, thank you for your patience. All right. So just to give you a brief, I can't see you at the moment, I can't see anything, but I can see this. Just to give you a brief about what Admissify is. So Admissify is a company that's very old in its parentage. So we are owned by CJ Dassel, which is one of India's largest companies. Over 220 offices in India, 40 years in the industry, and it's an MNC. And then on this side of the shore in the UK, we are also an international company, so that's why we have offices here in the UK and in Germany, etc. And it's another MNC that owns us, UK based, 20 years old, and offices again, like I say, in Europe and the US. So that should give you a bit of a brief about the companies behind Admissify. I want to sort of go over what the scope and effects of COVID-19 are on studying abroad, the importance of a quality application, the utility of time for application preparation during lockdown, or now, even though we're not in lockdown, but regardless what preparation you can be doing during this time. Because obviously a lot of you can't do internships, or you can't get out there, and people aren't giving so many internships in India at the moment, or a lot of people, it's not so safe to be out and maybe volunteering or doing some other sort of maybe volunteer work for your CV, etc. Anyway, going forward, post-study work visa guide, what the NHS visa is in the UK, what the UK post-study work opportunities are like, and the same for Ireland and Europe, and how COVID has really affected that in particular. Has it affected the job availability here? I'm going to go over that as well, and then we'll do a short comparison of main European countries, because I know some of you have are already aware of this. If you don't know who I am, it's a quick brief. So I started with my Bachelor of Engineering at Queen Mary, which is University of London University. I then did my Bachelor of Science, which was in Business Administration, which you can obviously see there's too many S's in that business. and uh, so, sorry, so I did BSc in Business Administration. Again, that was at Queen Mary University and University of London. And then I did my master's in law from Westminster in international commercial law, and then a diploma in international relations at LSE. So that just gives you a bit of a brief as to what I've done, but that's not too important. We're here to talk about what opportunities are here for you, and what you can be doing. Anyway, that's not very important. Why study abroad? As you all know, it's pretty much to expand your horizons, become a global citizen, increase your international and national job prospects. Bear in mind, not everybody wants to study abroad who wants to move abroad permanently. You can come here, so for the UK or for Ireland, for example, you can come here, do your master's in 1 year, or 2 years if you've got an integrated placement. So a lot of degrees have integrated placement. So it's 1 year master's and then 1 year guaranteed job. And in that time, you get sort of the salary is usually about 20 to 25 lakh. So you make back all your fees almost you make more than your fees back in the 1 year that you study. Plus then after that, you get a 2 year post-study work permit. So you've got 3 years. In some of the integrated placements, you've got 2 years of study, which includes 1 year of work, and then 2 years on top of that to earn money. Obviously, that makes the employability prospect much, much higher than they used to be when there only used to be a 6-month post-study work permit, like in the UK. So nobody was getting any jobs because obviously it's not feasible to employ someone for only 6 months. Obviously, that's completely changed now. And obviously, with Brexit, we don't have any more European people coming in. So there is a lot of opportunities for international students. As far as I am seeing at the moment, there is, in fact, a lot of jobs out there, and people, especially post-COVID, companies want to be lean and they want people who can work harder, longer, or more qualified for cheaper, which obviously favors students that have just come out of graduation, and particularly international students that can work part-time while they're studying and also work afterwards at a more competitive rate, especially when they're from India and the English is fairly good as well. Obviously, studying new courses in world-leading colleges goes without saying. Some of the most advanced courses that are ready for the jobs and the opportunities of the future are at international universities. By the time they trickle down to India, they are of course much older. So if you are looking at something state-of-the-art or cutting-edge in technology, or a new niche within your own particular subject, then of course international universities, and particularly leading engineering universities, whether that be Germany or the UK, or technology universities like in Ireland, are of course renowned worldwide, and that's the reason that they are renowned, because they have the world's best professors who have written the world's best papers with the world's best facilities on offer, and that does make a difference. Experience new cultures and become truly independent. So a lot of people, I notice in particular, when they come from India, they're very mollycoddled. Mollycoddled means protected and looked after, and in a bubble of support. They have a support bubble. What I would like to say in India, of their parents, of the infrastructure that people have, whether that be a driver, a servant, etc., etc. Of course, that is not the case here. And so you really learn how to become a bit more independent. You fend for yourself. You learn how the world works really in a different way. So moving on. Now, I want to sort of come and give you a little bit of information about what the opportunities are, what the advantages are, and I am going to talk about scholarships in a little while as well. Reason being, scholarships are available. That we as a company get the most scholarships for the UK, and Germany, actually, in the whole of Delhi, Guwahati, North India, and we sort of want to tell you guys how we get those scholarships, rather than just saying, right, we get you the most scholarships, or we have people every year who get 100% scholarships, even in the UK, and we can put you in touch with those people as well via our app. If you haven't heard of the Admissify app, it's free to download. It's available on iOS and on Android. over there, you can speak to students. So the new version is being launched in next week. So keep an eye out for that, guys. In the new version, you can speak to students that are going to the same university as you. You can interact with students, ask questions, and have qualified counselors and mentors and people who have studied abroad themselves come in and answer those questions. So you have not just one person, like one counselor from one company answering your questions. You have someone like me based in the UK, or you have someone like who is studying here in the UK at the moment, and you have somebody who's back in India who studied it 3-4 years ago. You have a counselor who's got 10 years of experience, who's studied and has been counseling for maybe 5-7 years and studied in the UK and worked in the UK for 10 years. So a lot of people to give you different perspectives on the same question, because not everybody does have the same perspective, and it's important to sort of get lots of perspectives before you make a decision. And you'll be able to tell, of course, who is more qualified to give you that advice and whose advice you resonate with more. So that's always my strong sort of suggestion to you guys. I also want to talk about the applying. So when is the best time to apply? Is it better to be worried, or is it better not to be worried? Is it better to be apprehensive, or go with caution, or maybe not apply, or is it better to apply? We'll go over that, but just going over this brief slide first before I go there. So internationally ranked universities, we went through that. Actually, I don't need to go through this. You can read it all, I'm sure you have done, and I've just talked about most of it anyway. Cultural diversity, guys, I'm sure you've never ever heard of anybody in my 30 years being born in the UK and being here for more than 30 years. I've never encountered any racism. It just doesn't happen in the UK. If I was to talk about the UK itself, our Home Minister is Indian, Priti Patel. Our Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is the Finance Minister, he's Rishi Sunak. He's Indian. Our Secretary of State for Business is Alok Sharma, and he is again Indian. So in the highest level of government, there are 3 Indians at the moment in the UK. So that should give you an idea of what opportunities and what barriers there are here. So if there were barriers, you wouldn't see these Indians in the most powerful positions in this country. And if there weren't opportunities, again, they wouldn't get there in one generation. So bear that in mind. That is very, very important to see what kind of movement there is, what kind of opportunities there are. And it's very important to know what barriers there are as well. So if there's a ceiling and you can't get beyond that, it's good to know where that is. So in this country, we can tell that there is no barriers because, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is the Finance Minister, and the Home Secretary are the 2 most powerful positions after the Prime Minister. So that should say it all. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment and tuck that in here and just go over some points. So this year we already have more than 100 students which are coming to the UK, and around about 100 students which are going to Germany just in this intake. There are many students of ours that are already here, a lot that are waiting to fly here. So bear that in mind. That should give you some confidence at least, because if you go to our Facebook page and you look at our videos that have been there before, you'll notice that I was saying at the beginning of March as well that it was the best time to apply and get your places. And a lot of people have ended up with scholarships. So a lot of the people that are here in the UK itself at the moment, and a lot of our students that are waiting to come here at the moment in India, they've got their flights booked and they're coming. It is very, very important to know that a lot of them got scholarships after they had their offer. So they were told to accept the offer, and then they got their £2,000 scholarship, £3,000 scholarship, etc. So the scholarships are out there, just so that you know. Now, already at the moment, there's already 3,000 students here in the UK from in this September intake from India. Right, so there's 3,000 here already, and a lot of people are still in India waiting to take their flight here. Obviously, a lot of the classes at the universities are being taken online, so that pretty much every university world over has had to make provisions for more spacing between students within lecture theatres, as well as that okay, I take it I'm back. My apologies for that. That was Windows restarting by purpose. Coming back to where we were before, I presume you can all see me now and hear me. Right. So just to talk about a little bit about what the universities are doing at the moment in terms of being COVID prepared. I was telling you there's going to be increased spacing between people in classes. There are staggered classes, so people are leaving and entering buildings at separate times. At the same time, a lot of people within the university accommodation at the moment are studying from their accommodation itself, right? So they're in the university campus. They can use the libraries, but again, classes are a bit less. But again, you get to network more. It's more of a time that people support each other and help each other. So the opportunities are there. As far as applying is concerned, it is my firm opinion, and as it is with anybody who's applied and who's come abroad, it is a benefit to apply early. The earlier you apply, the more chances there are of you getting a scholarship. And at the end of the day, the situation in the UK and in Germany and in Europe as a whole is far, far better than India in terms of the COVID situation. So right now we have some enhanced restrictions in the UK itself. So we do have to wear a mask when we go into shops. You do have certain other procedures and regulations that you do have to follow. It isn't too restrictive. You can shop online. Everything comes to you. It's not a difficult situation to be in, as per se. It's just a different situation. Now, obviously, as we all know, this COVID situation is the new normal. There is no particular time that we can see in the near future where everything's going to go back to what it was before. So my suggestion is apply as early as you can. Scholarships are available. The minimum amount is usually about £2,000 to £3,000 that can be got. Sometimes it can be a lot more than that. We do have people that have got 50% scholarships, 100% scholarships. It does, of course, depend on how much time we have to work on your documents, on your SOPs, on your supporting documents, and how much time we have to liaise with the university directly in order to make sure that we can up your scholarship to the highest amount possible. In order to do that, of course, it is better that you apply sooner rather than later. I mean, I always leave you guys with this, but a famous saying by Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest guys in the world: when all others are being fearful, be brave, and when all others are being brave, be fearful. There's a reason to say that. It means that everybody already who has gone abroad at the moment and who has already got their admission and their scholarship, they're benefiting. Because when they applied, the situation of COVID was worse in Europe than it was in India. And I said at that time that COVID's coming everywhere. It will come to India. And when it comes to India, it will be worse. So don't think that, oh, because Europe is worse now, let's apply later. That's what I said then. And of course, anybody who applied then has got a scholarship. A lot of people have got scholarships and they're here, and the situation is quite bad in India. So I wouldn't be worried about COVID. You know, the survival rate is over 99%. The highest at risk are really people who have existing health problems. So if you have like chronic asthma and you're very ill and you have respiratory problems, then yes, perhaps you shouldn't be looking to go and study abroad. But if you don't suffer with any respiratory problems or other such problems like that, then I would suggest that you can apply and not have to worry that it's a life-threatening sort of illness for you. It's not that, and you can be quite rest assured. Rashmi asks, can you brief about student safety guides for Indian students in the UK? Yeah, so I was talking just before I got cut off. Actually, I was mentioning that we have staggered start times now. So classes don't start, before, like, classes would start at 10 o'clock for everyone. So now it's not like that. So like maybe in the same building there'll be staggered start times. So like 10 o'clock for one in one lecture hall, 10:15 in the other one, maybe 10:30 in the other one, 10:45 in the other one. So the way the reason they do that is this: so there's not a lot of people in the hallways, a lot of people coming in and leaving out at the same time. Is to increase or have more safer social distancing in place. A lot of classes that were in smaller lecture halls now will be online. Of course, not your practicals and not your lab lessons. Those will be obviously in the university itself, or any practical lessons will be in the university itself. But there's a lot of procedures. Like, you can't go into shopping without a mask. You can shop online. When you come into the UK, you will have to isolate for a week to 2 weeks. That's the case at the moment. When people come in January, that might not be the case. Of course, if you're looking to apply in September 21, then nobody knows what the situation is going to be like then, but it probably will be quite died down by then, I would have thought. That's pretty much a whole year from where we are now. I can't imagine the situation being any worse than it is now. It'll probably be quite a lot better. As far as jobs are concerned in the UK as well, and Germany, I wanted to say, well, look, I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar as well, the opportunities are loads. We have Brexit, we've had Brexit, so a lot of Europeans can't come in now that were coming in, that were taking in sort of a lot of the graduate jobs, a lot of the jobs in IT, a lot of the jobs in the NHS and healthcare. Now the opportunities are still there in healthcare, so there's a lot of healthcare opportunities, public health management, nursing, mental health, doctors, all sorts of, and because our NHS is a publicly run body, there's a lot of people that are required in management as well. So that's why the UK has launched something called the Special NHS Visa, which is the National Health Service Visa. That will fast track you. It will give you extra time on top of the 2-year post-study work permit. And on top of that, you can then translate that to citizenship very easily and fast track that as well. So the opportunities are loads. Probably, I would say this is probably the best time that we've ever had for international students in terms of opportunities as far as jobs are concerned and citizenship is concerned as well. Let me just think. What else do I want to cover with you guys? I don't want to make this too long, this webinar, because a lot of people, like I do mention to you, a lot of people watch these webinars afterwards. And I would like to leave it brief and then join you more often with more Q&As. We weren't able to put this, we weren't able to notify enough of you beforehand for this webinar, so there's not going to be a lot of people on this, but then of course next week there will probably be a lot more, so I'd rather cover some more things then. If you do have any questions, do feel free to ask, of course. But as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much all of the updates I wanted to give you. As far as the UK is concerned right now, there are we are having a series of enhanced rules in for the whole country. It's on a different tier system, so tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, depending on what city you're in. It could be tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. Of course, you're always allowed to go outside of your house. You're always allowed to shop for things. You're always allowed to go and do exercise, shop, go to restaurants. Restaurants are all open. Restaurants do close at 10 o'clock, so that's one of the restrictions that's in place now. You can't stay out in a restaurant past 10 o'clock. Things like this are coming in just to keep the rate low. The rate has started to increase a bit in the UK, so that's why we're having some enhanced measures. But of course, I mean, public transport, everything is still open, but there are just some restrictions in place to make sure that everybody is safe, and so that the R rate doesn't go over 1, because as soon as the R rate for COVID transmission goes above 1, one person can transmit to 30 people. So when the R rate is below 1, the transmission rate stays below, so one person can only infect one person or less. So that's what we're trying to do, keep the R rate low. So anybody who's, again, like I say, graduating next year is going to get the 2-year post-study work permit. And that is, I mean, I don't think that can be beaten. You can't, there's nowhere else in the world except for the Ireland and the UK and really Germany, but it's not 2-year post-study, it's 18 months. Can you go and do a master's in 1 year and then stay there to study for 2 years and make just a lot more money than you'll be investing in yourself as well. I wanted to see if I could show you the R rate, but that's in a different slide. We'll talk about that maybe next week. I don't want to necessarily go over that too much. About employment, just to bear in mind, the UK, we do help you guys get jobs here in the UK from our office over here. We support you over here and in Germany from our offices in Hanover as well. So you're never alone. Even once you've come here and you've got your scholarship and we've got your scholarship and you come to the UK, we're still here. We help you with your accommodation. We help you find a placement or a part-time job while you're studying if you want that. Then we help you get a placement afterwards and we direct you to the companies where you can get sponsorship even after your 2-year post-study work permit is finished. So if you're in a company they can sponsor you, they can, even after your 2-year post-study work permit is finished, they can elongate that sponsorship. And then if you stay here for more than 4 years, then you can apply for citizenship as well, or permanent right to remain. So there are lots and lots of tricks, lots and lots of rules that if you know, it's much better, your opportunities are there. If you don't know, you don't know. So that's the difference between us and traditional consultancies in India that are just based in India, that just send you here and then goodbye, we forget you. That's not what we are. We're there for you in India and we're here for you abroad as well, whether that's the US, whether that's the UK, or whether that's Europe. And when I say Europe, we're based in Germany as well. So that's just the difference. Guys, before I leave you, I'm just going to tell you, keep an eye out for our new app. It will be launched in this month itself, in the coming couple of weeks. It is amazing, even though I'm going to be biased, of course, but it is amazing. You can speak with students, you can speak with all sorts of counselors, mentors, former study abroad students that are studying abroad at the moment, people from abroad like myself who have studied in their own home countries, who can help you. You can ask any question in any forum. You can discover lots about, there's more than, like I said before, like in the existing app, there's 3,000 universities. You can apply online. You can see what scholarships are available. You can speak with the universities directly. So there's lots and lots of things you can do in there. And again, it's free to download. So make sure you do download that, and we will, of course, send you all invites. In the meantime, do like us on Facebook. Do have a look at the videos if you hadn't seen them before. And if you have, then like and share so that other people can be informed and other people can benefit as well. If you do have any questions, we'll be doing a Q&A session next week. And that's about it. I'm going to keep it brief for this week. There's not too many of you here anyway, but we will obviously be marketing differently next week. So thank you very much, guys, for attending, and thank you for the question that came. And we'll see you next week, and we'll keep you updated with what's happening in Europe as far as COVID is concerned, what regulations are in place, and what changes there are in the application procedure. But at the moment, my suggestion is apply early. Give us time to get you the best scholarship. Even if you decide you don't want to go, you can defer your entry. It doesn't mean that you have to pay any money. It's free anyway. So why not apply? Have your offer letter in hand and then decide what you want to do. That would be my advice to you. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for attending, guys. And sorry for the interruption in this. My laptop went funny. And we will see you next week. Thank you.